If you guys need any cards, packs, sleeves, anything of that nature, shop on TCG Player using my affiliate link in the description. What's good, YouTube? We've got here today a very, very big announcement, which is that I am going to be hosting my first ever event. Now, this is going to be very different from War League or Ribbit or anything like that. I had this idea actually about a week ago to host an event where I unbanned a bunch of cards, essentially, but for Edison format. So, Edison format card pool, Edison format ban list, but then I arbitrarily take some cards off, very obviously inspired by the series MBT does on his channel, where he takes a bunch of sort of anachronistic hits off of the ban list and lets cards come back to, like, prove a point to Konami or whatever he says. I'm less so doing that. I'm just kind of out here to see how far I can go without breaking Edison format, or realistically, I am going to break Edison format, but just how will I break Edison format? That is the question here. So I've decided that something like this warranted letting my viewers join in on the fun. If you are interested in participating in this, before we get into discussing what the actual format will be, there's going to be a link to a Discord in the description where the event will be hosted, so go ahead and click on that. After you've watched this video and you've cooked up a deck list, you're going to want to go to the bot commands channel and type /join. That will send you a DM with instructions for how to submit a deck list and sign up for the tournament. Furthermore, while I'll be going over the ban list in today's video, the full custom ban list will be posted down in this channel at all times, where you can see the entire ban list as well as the changes from the Edison format ban list. A few more things we need to go over before we can get into it. Just some boring talk about rules and structure of the event and whatnot. Obviously, matches need to be played on Dueling Book. Can't really support Edison format on any other platform. There's a lot of weird, obscure 2010 rulings we need to adhere to. Furthermore, the tournament is single elimination. I do apologize if you lose round one and just get eliminated, but there will be more of these. I'm planning on making it a regular thing, so you'll have your time to shine. Plus, you can always test with other people outside the tournament. I'm sure that's something that people will be interested in doing. It's just like the easiest way to run these things. Furthermore, tournament's multi-day. Essentially, we're going to have 24-hour rounds. Tentative start date is Saturday at noon. Hopefully, by that point, pairings will be finalized within the bracket. So you have until then to sign up. At that point, you're going to want to view the bracket in Chalong, which you can do with the /bracket command, which should give you a link to the bracket in Chalong. So you find your opponent, then you reach out to them via Discord, either in the pairings channel or just like DM them or whatever. Just like get in contact with your opponent, schedule your match, play your match, okay? After that, there are two things you need to remember to do. First of all, loser needs to report with the /loss command, but basically just type /loss, then the name of the opponent in Discord. Very simple, very easy to remember. And then one of you needs to put the replay in the replay dumpster. Again, very important. Please don't forget to do this. We want all the replays. We want to watch all the replays at some point, hopefully. Last thing with regards to Mind Crush. We are going to be ruling Mind Crush in the era-accurate manner. What this means is you don't reveal your hand unless you discard 0 cards. If you discard 1 or more cards, it doesn't matter what's accounted for. You don't reveal your hand. But as I mentioned before, we are going to be watching every replay, so do not cheat with Mind Crush or you will get caught. This is your one and only warning. Finally, any rulings questions, go in the rules questions channel. We have some judges and ruling experts and whatnot, and me. I'm outside that category. I do want to say, please, only use this as a last resort if you have a genuine, rulings question that needs to be resolved. Can you just not inundate my judges with a bunch of BS calls about, my opponent's slow playing, my opponent misclicked and took it back? This is a casual, multi-day, custom format tournament with no prize, so can we just treat it as such and let it run as smoothly as possible? Thank you. Let's get into the ban list. Starting off with the cards that are going to 1, we have, first off, Tribe Infecting Virus. Now, this card is kind of just a bad Lightning Vortex that's a 1600 normal summon. I definitely don't think one of it is really going to shake things up that much. Maybe at 3, you could argue that this card could become more impactful. Maybe it's just it's weird, because you could definitely imagine there would be bad matchups too, but maybe there's something that could break it. I think one tribe is pretty minimal in terms of actual changes on the metagame. Some of you might disagree, but I think one tribe is completely fine. Butterfly Dagger Elma was used in a really bad FTK a really long time ago. Out of abundance of caution, I've decided to put it just to 1, but I would be shocked if it did anything at 3. At 1, I think there's no chance. If someone actually manages to FTK with 1 Butterfly Dagger, then, like, good on you. 1 Dark Hole is not only not toxic, it's actually just actively healthy for the format. This might be a controversial take and all, but I view this as just, like, very similar to Heavy Storm in a lot of ways. It's kind of just a noob filter card. Yeah, it changes the way you have to play, but it changes the way you have to play in a positive direction, makes you think about resource management, it makes you conserve. So I think Dark Hole is fine. It's more than fine. I think Dark Hole is great. Time Seal, it's another one of these that's at 1 out of just an abundance of caution. I don't really expect Time Seal to do anything, even if I did put it to 3, but what it does is really toxic, so I guess just 1. Out of all the changes that I've made, I think this might be the most impactful one, or at least one of the most ubiquitous ones, which is Thousand Eyes Restrict to 1. I'm aware that every deck is just going to play Instant Fusion for Thousand Eyes, and I think that's kind of cool. I don't know, it might just be fun to watch that, so it could be too broken, you know, it could definitely be very, very format warping in a bad way, but I kind of just want to see a bunch of people activating Instant Fusion for Thousand Eyes, and I thought it'd be funny, so we're doing this one time. And the last card we have going from 0 to 1 is Dark Magician of Chaos. Now, I think this card will actually be a lot less impactful than people really think. Yeah, I mean, you know, Frog Monarch might play it. Maybe some other crazier, like, fast build will try to play it. But we are not bringing back any of the, like, obscene power spells like Graceful or Pod or Dimension Fusion that this card was traditionally used to abuse with. So I actually think Democ can kind of be fair. I could be wrong about this. I could be wrong about a lot, but ultimately we're going to find out, so let's just see. Moving on to my new semi-limited list, we have here Magician of Faith. I don't really think this is going to do anything. Maybe I should just put it to 3. There's a lot of things that just kind of got stuck at 2 on here for arbitrary reasons. But, yeah, Magician of Faith, pretty bad. Like, there's, as I mentioned before, no Pot, no Graceful. Like, all the crazy power spells are still gone. So, like, what are you even getting back with this? There's just, like, some situational staples and stuff. I don't really think it's that good. It's very slow. Probably won't see too much play. Sork, I think it'd be cool to buff Chaos decks and have some actually viable, dedicated Chaos strategies out there without going too crazy. Obviously, we didn't bring back BLS or anything. Sork is kind of just a very fair boss monster. Yes, it's powerful, but it's also very fair, so I think 2 is not objectionable. Do you seriously believe that Gladiator Beast is going to become broken in a format where we're bringing back all of this crazy stuff, and all they get is a second bestie, which is already hyper searchable anyway? Does the second bestie even do anything? I don't know. I kind of just want to see someone play a deck with Necroface. Like, there were some goofy decks back in the day. None of them were that good. I don't really see why it had to be limited in the first place. D-Draw is, like, much, much worse than Allure of Darkness. I don't see why they need to be both limited. You might find it odd that I put Trag to 2 despite my insistence that Gores is worse, and I left Gores at 1. Main reason for this is I just don't want to create a format where the default game state is just always having to play around Gores, because that actually sounds really toxic, as opposed to stuff like Heavy Storm and Dark Hole, where I think always playing around those is rather healthy. Yeah, that's the main reason. Not gonna lie, I kind of just want to see people cook with these cards. This is kind of like the Grand Mole hit. Like, who knows if this really does anything. It might be broken. It might do nothing. We'll find out. Sangan's definitely kind of mid in Edison format, so I kind of just want to see what happens if we give people 2. Like, Sangan, search Sangan? That sounds hilarious. Rituals are so bad, they deserve to have something, right? Not too jazzed about this one, but we had a quota to fill. Keep in mind, there will be no judges standing by. This card went from 2 and then to 3 pretty quickly. Then again, Debris was limited in those formats, so I think it'd be interesting to give, like, a slight buff to Debris Dragon decks, just to see what they do with it, though. Initially, I was planning on bringing back a Monster Reborn, but then it occurred to me, if we're bringing back Democ and, like, Magician of Faith, mostly Democ, we should probably avoid that, so I decided to go down the route of Double Call of the Haunted instead in that slot. 2 Troopers definitely a substantial buff, but so long as you're not summoning 3 with Machine Dupe, I think this card is fairly balanced and healthy, so whatever. Mind Crush went to 2 shortly after Edison format. It didn't really do anything. Maybe there's some toxic, like, hand rip deck that could somehow abuse 3, so I kept it at 2 as, like, once again, abundance of caution, but I don't really think it matters. It probably could just go to 3, but we'll leave it at 2 for now. I could see this hit being completely format shattering, and I could also see it doing absolutely nothing, but I just love the pesky boy, so you know what, 2 of them. Getting into the 3-ofs, we're starting off here with Tsukiyomi. You might have noticed a trend on this list in that there's a lot of like 3-ofs that are just sort of like staples of the DM era, or like the more the GOAT format era maybe, where it felt like Konami kind of just hit these because they felt like the game was getting stale or something. But a lot of these cards don't really do that much if you think about it, and like they waited way too long to bring them back. Like Tsukiyomi, what is Tsukiyomi going to do? Maybe someone will play it, but like, how good is it really? Victory Dragon is a useless card because in the TCG it is legal to concede whenever you want, and that will be the case with this upcoming tournament. So if anyone tries to break Victory Dragon in their deck for some reason, you're dumb and you deserve to lose. Pretty sure these guys are only at 1 for lore reasons. It is optimal to play 1 of each piece in any kind of Exodia deck. 3 Marshmallow probably doesn't matter. This card is just worse than Tribe Infecting Virus. No one plays this now, and when it's at 3, no one will still play it. There is simply no way it's good to play 3 Sidra in like anything besides Cyber Dragons, and at that point, I mean, just let them have it. We didn't bring back Overload or anything like that, so yeah. Why is this at 2 exactly? It's like hyper searchable, and you only really need to summon 1, so yeah. I know I asked why the last one was at 2, but why is this at 2? This being at 2 is like GOAT format, banlist vibes, level dumb. 3 Decree is probably suboptimal. I think 2 is the way to go. Yeah, 3 probably just doesn't matter. This buffs zombies, but not to a game-changing degree. They pretty much always get to Gob Zomp anyway. You don't necessarily even want to open this as opposed to opening Tomato or Pyramid Turtle. Every Frog player I talk to insists that 3 Treeborn is too good, and they're all wrong. I mean, I understand it makes it a little harder to banish all of the Treeborns, but like, post-board, you're mainly losing to Floodgates as Frogs. Like, usually the Caius banish 1 Treeborn, DD Crow the other one isn't coming up. Kaiku just like never lands in that matchup. It's soul release or bust basically, if you want to actually ban Treeborns, and like 3 doesn't necessarily insulate against that all that well. So I really think this is extremely low impact in terms of buffs. I'm really trying to make that Necroface deck happen, in case you couldn't tell. I may come to regret this one, but I think it's pretty dubious that the 3rd Magical Stone really changes anything in terms of the consistency of FTKs or even Dragon Turbo. I know I've asked this question a lot, but why is this at 2? I mean, I know Bottomless is a good card, but is it really that good? This card's pretty much only semi'd because of, like, Symbols of Heritage, right? So what I am saying is make it happen, players. Someone bring the crazy Power Tool Equip Plant combo deck. I want to see it. Someone's got to do it. If you really want to run multiple redundant Goyas in your extra, be my guest. Alright, so that's going to wrap it up for the unhits on the ban list. I did warn you some of these were going to be pretty crazy, but hey, that's what makes for good content. So next time I see you will be in the tournament. I hope you're all very excited because I'm definitely hyped for this. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Furthermore, if you enjoy my content, you should think about becoming a channel member. You get access to tons of bonus content, and it's a great way to help support the channel.